Act. What are the key principles outlined in the Act for processing of personal data?
See, most importantly, there are 4, 5 principles I'll put across. Personal data, of course, the whole point of personal data being, relating to individuals. So if you just keep the individual at the center, and then around that, there are various rights, right? So data protect the data principal rights, such as, right of erasure, right of withdrawal of consent, etc. Right? So I will start, with the data principal rights. Now, if you really see what as individuals, right, what are we really concerned about? I'm concerned about the safety of my data, right? So data security. I'm concerned about, what purpose is data going to be used, right? So purpose limitation. That means, whoever is the data fiduciary in Indian context, we use the word data fiduciary. International is the data controller. The person who's collecting and using my data, for what purpose is that person going to or entity going to use my data, right? So in that context, purpose limitation. I will allow my data to be used only for certain purposes as consent through consent mechanism, or only certain recognized purposes under law, right? Only for those principles without my consent also a data fiduciary can use my data, which is within the boundaries of the law. And we'll come to that as we go along. Then what am I concerned about? Security purpose. For how long are you going to keep my data? Can you keep it forever? Or can you, do you have to erase my data, or can I ask you to erase my data, right? So of course the right of erasure. So with that comes again the time period for which you can, keep the data. And the last principle is data minimization. Minimization is you cannot collect my data, to the large extent. What is your purpose? And for that purpose, are you, collect the minimum data that is required for that particular purpose, right? And of course, the last thing I'm concerned about, if I have any grievance, will I get redressal for that, right? So grievance redressal, the right of grievance redressal, right? So these are the basic, just consider, from a data principle perspective, these are the basic principles on which, the law is sort of established, which is, almost similar to what we see internationally.